Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. As you can tell, things are quite discombobulated today. So, it's a lot going on. But I'm still glad to be here with you today. Those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles. Yes. All right, welcome to the Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy, and I am asking for another way to look at things. Yes. You need not believe the ideas. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. So you need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. You may not like some of the things you hear me say. You may actively resist them. Does everybody know what active resistance means? Does everyone know what active resistance means? Oh, okay. That means you might not like it. But that doesn't mean it's not true because you don't like it. A lot of things can be true that you don't like. But a lot of things can be true that you do like. So that simply means some of the ideas you may actively resist. And some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. Some of the stuff you hear may be hard to believe. Hard to believe. Hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. Some of the other stuff you hear might be quite startling. You are not asked to judge the ideas at all. Nobody's asking us to analyze the ideas at all. I don't analyze the Course in Miracles, so if you are analyzing, you're going to be in hell. Okay, I tell you right now, you're going to sure enough be in hell, because I don't analyze the Course in Miracles. I don't sit around and everybody analyze what the Course in Miracles is saying. I'm the divine repetition teacher. That means after 40 years of working with it, I know the most important thing that a person can do with the truth is hear it and remember it. The first thing we need to do is let ourselves do what? Hear it. So you can decide how you want to deal with it, but we want to hear it. And the Course says, this is what you do. This is what you do. You do this. It's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you. The use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Using it will show you that it's true. So actually, those of you watching on Facebook Live, I want to welcome you from all over the world that checks out the class. It's good to hear. It's like several thousand people watching online, which is a trip. You know, it makes me feel like I'm not the only one that wants another way to look at it. And we're going to be on the section on page 459, those of you who have the books. We're going to be on page 459. We're going to be doing a section called Reason versus, over in this corner we have reason, and over in this corner we have madness. And we're going to have reason versus madness. And that's going on inside of me. There's a part of me that's quite mad. and there's a part of me that uses reason. Are you familiar with the part of you that you try to lock in the closet like an insane relative that you want nobody to know about?
Yes.
And then out in public, you don't let anybody see that part of you, but you know it's crazy as hell.
That part of me.
Don't we tend to reserve that part of us for the people we love? The people we love, they get a chance to see the nut, you know? That's the price they pay. And the Course in Miracles is talking about love or fear. The purpose of the Course in Miracles is to remove the blocks to the awareness of the presence of love in you. It's about changing your perception. The Course in Miracles is not a book on manifesting. The Course in Miracles is not a book on manifesting. It's not about how to manifest anything. It's about how to deal with whatever you manifested.
That is the best line ever.
Yeah. That's what people forget about the Course in Miracles. It's not about, whether or not you manifest that partner. It's about teaching you how not to kill them. Give you another way of looking at it, right? So reason versus madness is the same as saying love versus fear, because the Course in Miracles, no matter what the terminology is using, it's only talking about love or fear, how to get from the fearful part of my mind to the loving part of my mind. Okay. So I'm going to go through the paragraph, and then I'm going to test it 1, 2. Then I'm going to go back through the paragraph. So it's going to, in this paragraph, it uses one of our favorite words, which is sin. Even though it's not the definition of the word that some people who grew up in more fundamentalist religions learned how to hear that word. Yeah, everything was kind of moved around today because we got this wonderful group of people outside and tested the wonderful people inside. I know what to do. You go to sleep. Yeah. I know exactly what to do. I got a response, didn't I? Yeah, I got a response. First sentence says, reason cannot see sin, but can see errors. So a man that uses reason does not see something that cannot be corrected. The Course says that sin, in the Course definition, is thinking we can make some kind of mistake, or we could do anything that couldn't be corrected by a higher power. So we see it as a sin. It's like an unforgivable act. Something that's permanently tainted you in some way. And so the Course is telling us that if you use reason, you don't see sin. What you see is an error. What you see is a mistake. So you actually seeing mistakes when you see anything other than love, which is very different from the way we're taught. I was taught I was born in sin. I was taught just by showing up, I had screwed up. Just by showing up, I was flawed. And so, what a horrible idea to implant in a young child. As soon as they get here, they're told not only are they somehow flawed inherently just because they've been born, but they also took out the Son of God. That you also were somehow responsible for God's child being killed, even though it happened 2,000 years before you were born. And you bought into it. Some people bought into it. I know I'm in dangerous territory saying this to some people, but I do not care. Because all you have to do is reject what I'm saying if you don't like it. That's it. And accept it. And you know something, you will never get in touch with your power as long as you care about what other people think more than being authentic about your truth. Because it really doesn't matter. One of the most amazing things that happen when you get on the spiritual path is at some point you realize opinions do not matter. Other people's opinions literally do not matter. It only matters the principles and the ideas and the thoughts that you live by and you apply to yourself. And if you do that, you will get the result in your own personal life. And as a result of getting those results, you believe even more in the loving things that you're telling yourself. You watch your life improve even more, which reinforces the idea to you that love and sanity is the answer, which in turn creates more, and it keeps building on itself to the point that your life is so loving and so peaceful that you could care less if anybody else believes what you believe or not. Right? Because each and every one of us, according to the Course, we're in our own individual journey, having our own individual curriculum. Every one of us has our own curriculum that we're acting from. And Earl's curriculum is slightly different from your curriculum. But what's the same is the destination. And the destination is love. The destination is heaven, which means reality. And reality is loving. So when the Course uses the term heaven, it's talking about where we originated from and how we originated is so loving, it is heaven. Follow that? It's not a place, it's a condition, it's a state of mind. Oh, it's outside. Okay. They jamming out there, boy. They serious. It's my favorite day of the year. It is. Okay. So if you see what you've done as not a sin, but a mistake, then the Course says this can lead to the correction of an error. If I see it as a mistake, then I think it's something that can be corrected. But the Course also says that we don't like mistakes, and that mistakes are not attractive to us. You can tell somebody they're a sinner, and they'll go, yes, I am. You tell somebody you wrong, what? Right? Mistakes upset us a lot more than the idea of being guilty and sinful. So by my attacking someone, judging someone, projecting on someone a mistake, my mind automatically doesn't want to make mistakes. And so it will act to start to correct it just because I'm calling it a mistake to cuss you out. It's a mistake to criticize you. My mind has already been programmed not to want to make mistakes. So if I call it a mistake, my mind actually will automatically want to do something about it. Does that make sense to everybody? But if I say it's a sin, and you think you're born in sin, and that's just your nature, well, no one's going to try to change their nature. But they will change a mistake. So the Course says it's when you see it as an error. What is this an error? The error is thinking you're separate from God, thinking you're separate from love, thinking you're separate from each other, thinking you're a victim of your experience, losing sight of the fact that you're a spirit, and you're innocent, and you deserve to be loved. That's the mistake. When the Course is talking, it's talking at the level of consciousness, the level of the mind. It's not talking about it's a mistake to leave some bread on the oven for too long. That's another level of error. You see what I mean? But this is talking about errors in the way we interpret and see things. And then it says the mind that uses reason, it says it does not value the mistake, it just values their correction. So I'm not upset with you because of so much of what you've done that I see as the mistake. What I'm focused on is, let's correct it. I'm more interested in the correction than I'm interested in what you did. For instance, if I've decided that I'm going to love you no matter what, then it really doesn't matter so much what you've done. What matters is that we work on the love and the correction. Because I've already said I'm going to love you unconditionally. And that's what I'm working toward. So in that case, you can't do anything that's going to keep me from loving you. So that's not the issue. The issue is, let's get past whatever this mistake is that's keeping us from experiencing love with each other.
Wow.
You know something, it's not that based on the idea that we're separate and we're different. And the other way of thinking is based on the thought that we are one and unified. And those two ways of thinking are entirely opposite, and they give entirely opposite results. The reason why people have ups and downs is because they go from looking at things from the perspective of guilt, separation, and anger,
and looking at things from the perspective of oneness, innocence, and love. And because we go back and forth between the two thought systems, we have what's called duality. The up, the down, the highs, and the lows. But that's just because one minute I'm interpreting things from a perspective of oneness and love and spirit, and the next minute I'm interpreting things from the attitude of separation and what the world teaches. And so we go through many moods all day because we have constantly changing interpretations of everything, including ourselves. And we call that moody. So being moody is just you constantly changing the way you look at yourself and changing the way you look at things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So the Course says reason, which is love, would also tell you that when you think you've sinned, even when you think you've done something that's so horrible it can't even be forgiven, it says what you're really doing is calling for help. So when I'm most upset and I think I've done something, the most horrible thing or the thing that I feel the most upset about and guilty about, the Course in Miracles is saying, you just saying, help me, help me, help me, help me. The person that attacks is calling for help. The person that robs is calling for help. The person that attacks is calling for help. They are afraid. They're insane in their fear. They're insane in the way they're seeing things. And they're actually saying, help me, help me, help me. I remember walking into my sister's house one day, and one of my relatives was going off. I know you've never had a relative go off, but because you're a spiritual being, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But I had a relative that was going off in anger on the family at that time, and everybody was reacting. And so some of them were angry back, going tit for tat. And I just walked in, and I just ran up to him and grabbed him and put my arm around him and said, "What's up? What is it that what do you need right now? What kind of support do you need right now? What are you afraid about?" And they immediately calmed down because I responded to that person was calling for help, and everybody else was responding like that person was attacking them. See, what was different? My interpretation was different. My interpretation was he was calling for help and saying, "Help me, I'm afraid, something is wrong, help me, help me." And what everybody else was responding to was the form the call was made in. Right? So the form was, "You low down bastards, y'all not really loving me like you should," right? That's the form, right? And yet we don't want to respond as the person is saying, "Please help me, please help me." Then everybody go, "Okay." But if somebody said, "Bitch," then you don't call it, "Please help me, please help me." See, we respond to the form the call is made in. We don't usually, unless this applies to you, we don't usually react to the content of the call. If you don't ask for my help in a really proper way, that I deem that I'm not helping you. That's the way minds that are full of separation and fear handle things. So the Course then says, reason will also tell you that when you think you sin, you're really calling for help. Yet, if you will not accept the help you call for, you will not believe you have help to give. So if I'm calling for help, but then I won't accept the help, then I won't think I have help to give. It's like, hand me this a minute. Okay, that's her answering my call for help. Now I have help to give because I can't give what I don't have. So first I have to accept God's love. I have to accept love. I have to accept the truth for myself before I can give it to anybody else. But what do we have? We have a lot of people trying to love people who don't love themselves and have not even learned how to receive love themselves. But they're saying, I'm gonna go out here and get somebody that I'm gonna love. Yet they hate themselves and don't feel good about themselves. So you can't, unless I accept God's help, unless I accept love, then I don't have love to give. So my first job is to accept the happiness, the joy, the abundance, the peace, the love for me. And so you shouldn't feel guilty if you're at that phase where you're just learning how to love yourself for the first time. And then you're criticizing yourself because you don't think you're loving other people the way you should. Or you're not as unselfish with other people. Well, you right now don't worry about other people. Right now, allow yourself to be healed so that you will have some help to give. So don't feel guilty if you know you have issues that need to be healed in you, and you're taking the time to allow that to happen rather than trying to help everybody around you. See how cool, sane thought is? Yeah. Then it says, and so you won't give it if I don't think it's mine to give. He says, then you won't give it, and then you maintain the belief that you don't have the help to give. See, if I don't give you something, then I'm maintaining the belief that I don't have it to give. I can't give you that's why I like to share more, because there's no way you can share anything without increasing your belief that you have it, because you know you couldn't give it if you didn't have it. So the best way to increase what you have is to share, because every time you share, your mind is going, I got it. And the more you believe you got it, the more you will have it, because the outer is a reflection of the inner. So if I am conscious that I have, the universe will reflect back to me that I have. And it'll seem like there's more abundance in my life. Is this making sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, too much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it says, the uncorrected error of any kind, uncorrected error of any kind, uncorrected error of any kind, deceives you about the power that is in you to make correction. If it seems like I can't correct something, it decreases my ability that I have the power in me for it to be corrected. So the Course in Miracles says, if there's a power in you that can make correction, and you don't allow that power in you to make correction, then you are denying that power to correct to yourself and to everybody else. If there's something in me that can make a difference, and then I'm not using the thing that's in me that can make a difference, if I don't think love is in me, if I don't think I have the capacity to help, then the Course in Miracles says, if you can correct and you don't allow yourself to do it, you're denying the power of that correction to you and to your brother. And when the Course says brother, it's not talking about a masculine gender man. Its definition of brother is equal. So when it uses the term brother, one of its definitions is equal. So you are my equals. We are all equals. And the Course says, if I have the power to love and I have the power to help, and I deny myself, I don't allow myself to do it, then I'm denying it to me, but I'm also denying it to you. If I deny the love in me, I'm certainly going to deny the love to you. So it loops right back. You do not lose by loving yourself. You do not lose by giving yourself joy. You do not lose by allowing yourself to have happiness and abundance. You owe it to everybody, because then you have something to give. And since the Course in Miracles is primarily talking about thoughts and perceptions, then our material situation is no excuse for not practicing the truth. Because it's talking about, I have ideas of love I can give away. I have ideas of forgiveness I can give away. I have ideas of support I can give away. And it has nothing to do with how much money I have. So the kind of giving the Course is talking about is, I'm going to give you the gift of seeing you as the innocent child of God that you are, that beautiful being that you are. Even if you don't see yourself that way, I'm going to be your Savior, because I'm going to see you the way you don't see yourself until you can see yourself that way. And by seeing you that way, I'm going to see myself that way, because anything that comes through me, according to the Course, always has an effect on me. So I can't let any loving thoughts to you come through me without me feeling more loving about myself. That's why anger and attack is such a dumb thing to do. Because every angry thought you have goes through you first, and it affects you first. And whether it affects the other person is actually dependent on the other person. You could call me the N-word. You could call me anything, and it would have no more effect on me than the power I give it. So even if you wanted to attack me, I don't have to necessarily feel it. But you will. You'll feel every ounce of anger you got towards your mama, your daddy, your ex, and all the other people that you think that you got. You're never going to forgive them till the day you die. Well, that's the same as saying, I'm going to attack myself about them till the day I die, which is going to be a lot sooner. Because of what I'm saying about them. And let's be honest. Let's be honest. What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about?
What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about? What am I mad at you about? You are not acting out my script. That's your sin. That is your sin. I have come up with a way you are supposed to act and speak and be and behave, and you aren't doing it. So I am PO'd deeply right now. So I'm going to smack the hell out of myself with all of my negative thoughts to punish you. And just and you take this and you take that, son of a gun. And then I'm sitting up there watching you beat yourself up. And then there's a part of me that's going, oh, it's okay, stay mad at me. Because you're taking yourself out, not me. Because I am loving myself so much that I know that even if I make a mistake, it's my call for love. Because I'm going to give myself the right to make mistakes. I'm going to make it okay for me to not always be nice and not always be kind, because I'm attempting to learn how to be that way. That's my goal. Readiness is not mastery. Okay? Right? And then the Course in Miracles says, and if the other person shares the same belief that they can't give the help, they don't have the help, they don't have the love, they don't have the power to correct, he says, and if that other person has the same belief, then you both think you're damned. I think I don't have love and happiness, and you think you don't have love and happiness, and so you're not giving up any, and I'm not giving up any, because we both believe there's nothing in us that can be truly loving and corrective. He says, then we both think we damn. So what happens is two damn people get together and go out to clubs at night. And two damn people get together and go to the movie, and two damn people get together and take trips. I'd be damned. The next line says, this you could spare them and yourself. You could spare yourself of this pain, and you could spare them of this pain, because reason would not make way for correction in you alone. Love would never just help you only. Real love would want all of us to be equally helped and equally loved. Love never singles out one person and only gives love to that person. That's why the Course says our whole way of loving here is not love. It's specialness. The Course in Miracles really upsets people with the way it talks about our love and the way we do love. It says, we're counting on our Creator loving all of us equally and helping all of us equally and being supportive of all of us equally. But then we turn around and we pick and choose who we're going to love and who we're going to help, which it says isn't love at all. It's just I'm picking and choosing who's going to be special to me. See, that makes total sense. Why do you look out for your children more than someone else's? Because your children are more special to you. Love would not save your child and not save someone else's child. Love would never do that. Love would never exclude anyone. We do. So the Course just says, what you have is specialness. And it's a bargain. You'll keep it going as long as your script is met. I know I'll hit home when I get to the cricket stage. When you hear crickets in the room, I know. Because we know pretty much you just like me, we all do it. We all do it. That's why we can feel innocent. Because innocence comes from knowing you're not alone in whatever you're doing. Even crooks will get together and discuss the robberies they've done. And they feel innocent talking to each other. No, you used the wrong kind of screwdriver. If you want to break in the door, you have to use a max 12. That's the way two criminals would talk to each other. Because they feel innocent. Why? Because they're the same. They're both criminals. So innocence comes from us saying, yes, we all get angry sometimes. Yes, we all feel jealous sometimes. Yes, sometimes we don't share it. That's where we feel joined with each other, not saying, oh, really? I can't imagine someone getting upset with someone else, because I never get upset. And then I listen to people who say that, and I just pray for them.
Because it ain't no way you are surrounded by people and none of them are nothing like you. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You're always around people just like you. For instance, all of us are on the same level, according to the course. All of us are on the same level. You know what level that is? The learning level. Did you get that? Everybody in here is learning lessons. So we're all on the same level. We're on the learning level. See how it equalized the whole playing field? And each one of us has our own individual curriculum that we're studying on the learning level. Then I judge your curriculum because it's different from my curriculum. And so I say your way is wrong and my way is right. When you wake up, you go, everybody's having their own personal curriculum, so I shall not interfere. I shall ask if there's anything that I am to do. And most likely, the Course says, when Spirit is using you the most, you won't even know it. That it's consciously selected miracles. The people you select and you decide to help are usually the most horrible aid that people receive. It's when you decide what somebody needs and you decide how they should be. You know what I'm saying? Which we do, right? We'll sit around and we'll go, I'm going to solve all the problems in the world. I'm going to make a difference that nobody throughout history has ever been able to do. But I'm the one who was born that's going to change all the wars, and I'm going to change all. No, you're not going to change anything except your perception of it all. But if you feel led to do that, and it makes you feel inspired to do that, then you must do it because you were called to do it, and there's something about that as part of your lesson. So I'm not saying don't help people. You just stop deciding who they are. Right? Now, how can you tell, according to the Course, which we don't have to believe, how can you tell when you have been chosen? You will be willing to do it, and you can do it, and you won't feel any sacrifice doing it. Who would be a better person to help me than the person that wants to? A smart God would say, I'm going to tap into the people who would want to help you. I'm not going to spend all my time trying to get the people who don't want to help you to help you. I'm going to focus on the people who do. See, but that's not the way we do it, is it? No. We'll feel like we must make a sacrifice. And we feel like we don't really want to do it at all. And then we'll make ourselves do it anyway. And then sometimes have tons of resentment. Well, you weren't supposed to be the one to do it. The Course says God is not so cruel to make anybody else's help be dependent on you. You are not even loving yourself the way you should yet. That person would already be done in by the time you get to the point that you could even try to help them. It's like the person out in the middle of the water drowning, right? And then you say, I don't know how to swim, but I'm going to go take a class, and when I get through with the class, then I'm going to come out there and I'm going to save you. God would say, lifeguard, go straight to who could jump in the water immediately. And love accepts you where you are. Someone that loves you doesn't say, when you change, I'm going to love you. The way you are is what they love. See, once you study the Course in Miracles, the first thing I realized was I didn't believe in God and I didn't love nobody. It was really uplifting. But what I really did was I got out of denial. So I really could get to the point I love God and that I could be helpful. See, I stopped being so hard on myself when I went, the truth is I don't totally completely believe in higher power. But I want to, and I want all the block. But when I used to say, I believe in God, the first thing I say, yes, I believe in God. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you really believe that you're supported by the greatest power that exists, why are you afraid about your bills and your relationship and your health? And all? So it's too easy to know you're just talking what you don't really believe yet. Right? Right? So the Course says, reason would make a way for correction and would not make a way for correction you alone. So that was one paragraph of the Course in Miracles.
big paragraph.
Well, the Course in Miracles is like spiritual cheesecake. It's really rich. You have to take just a little nibble at a time. You just take a little sentence. So any questions or comments about that paragraph or anything that I said?
How about the ones like me, someone go, eat all the cheesecake.
Right, they get indigestion too.
Oh.
You can get truth indigestion. And people get truth indigestion because they're always reading and always studying and always reading and always studying and always going to different workshops and always going to different teachers, but they're not assimilating, integrating, or expressing anything that they're learning. And then it becomes a burden. Because when you have all this truth that you're studying that you're not applying, it's like having a 100-pound backpack on your back. Because then after a while you start beating yourself up for all the stuff that you've studied and you know you're not using. So don't use any more than this. Don't do any more than this than you plan on using. Don't just keep running from book to book, teacher to teacher, workshop to workshop, loading yourself with a lot of information. You're going to have cheesecake, and too much cheesecake, too much indigestion. I would suggest to people when they're really trying to make a breakthrough and they found a path, like I did with the course, that appeals to them, at least give yourself 90 days that you will not study anything but that. And stop studying a whole lot of stuff and then picking a little bit out of this one you like, and then dismiss the rest of it, and you pick a little bit out of this book, because what you're doing is you're picking out what you already believe and what you already agree with. You're not really introducing nothing new. Because all the stuff that you need to work on is the stuff that made you go, that you want to not pay attention to. Like when I said that about specialness, and part of you went, then you need to get a perception of what that means. Because I've had it with conditional love. I'd rather not be in a relationship with anyone now, to be in a relationship with anybody, that my love is a bargain. And the way we're going to do our bargain is how guilty we make each other feel if we don't act out the other one's script. I ain't going to do it anymore. But some people, that's their curriculum. And I have to honor that that's their curriculum. They have one hellacious relationship after another. It's their curriculum. Why? Because they have alternatives that they don't use. And so when somebody is presented with another way of doing things and they still insist on the way they're doing things, you should be conscious enough to know that's their fate. That's their destiny to have that experience. And they're telling you back off. That's why they don't listen to you. They know that's their curriculum. So you offer sincerely, like somebody come in your house and you say, have a cup of tea, and they said, no, you don't go to therapy. You don't feel utter rejection for the rest of your life. You're not taking my tea. You don't do that. You go, okay. So when you offer your truth and you offer your thoughts, and people don't receive them, just talk about something else now. Because if you continue to talk to somebody that you don't share the same belief system, and you're trying to convince each other, the Course says you're weakening your belief system. Every time you talk to somebody and y'all just battling back and forth, you're weakening what you believe. You're not strengthening it. And people love to do that. I can tell sometimes people will come up to me and they'll want to ask me questions about the Course. And I know they're not about to ask me a real question. They already have that answer already in their mind, and they just want to get into some kind of debate with me. That's all. A real question, an honest question, is when you have no idea what the answer is. And so you're literally asking from the perspective of, I don't know what the answer is. Please tell me. You're not coming, I already have an idea, and I'm really looking for you to validate what I'm already believing, but I'm going to phrase it in the form of a question. This is the greatest psychology book ever written. I tell people all the time, if you study the Course in Miracles, beside hitting a lot of spiritual blocks, you will be people will think you're psychic, and you're not psychic at all. I told you how people are going to act and how they're going to behave and how they're going to think when they think they're separate. That's all it is. People who think they're bodies and people who just think they're separate and they believe in guilt and anger. They're going to do this, and this. And you'll watch everybody you know do that, but they'll do it with their own flavor. It's like saying, this is cake, but there's banana cake, chocolate cake, but this is cake. And that's so the only difference is the cake, the kind of cake, but everybody's giving me cake. There's fear cake, there's separation cake. So if I'm talking to a person and I know that they think they are talking to another person, they think I am separate from them, they think they are a man or a woman, and they think that they are separate from source, I already know what kind of experience I'm going to have with them before I ever enter into a relationship with them. Because this book has told me what they're going to do. But it also tells you exactly how a person's going to act who feels innocent, connected, and loving. So you also know when you're blessed to be in front of a person that would be the safest, the coolest person that you could ever be with, and your ego will have no passion for them at all. You'll find that they will be friends. That'll be they'll go straight to the friend zone, male or female, because the Course says our ego is the part of us that needs conflict and separation to survive. It's the part of us that believes we're separate from each other. And it says you do that through some form of fear. So the ego part of us that thinks we're separate, it says it's actually looking for who will conflict with it, who is not available, who is not actually going to be loving. So when you're in the presence of a loving person and you haven't gotten to the point that you've accepted the help that makes you loving, they probably will not turn you on. They will be pleasant to be around. You like to have nicest discussions with them, but mostly there will be no passion. Because they won't give you your ego the conflict that it needs. Think about the people you felt the most passion for in your life and ask yourself if they were not also the people that you could go through the most hell with.
Yes.
And you'll see a lot of times they're exactly the same person. The person that you were having endless processing with, that you were in a relationship with, was also the person that you could find yourself the most passionately turned on by. Yeah. It's because my ego wants me to want what doesn't want me. Because that's what makes me think I'm separate and not really loved. Because the ego is the part of me that doesn't love me. So it needs witnesses to that. So it's going to pick people who don't really recognize me and love me. But then one day you wake up to that whole game and you know what you do? You stop. And the minute you stop allowing yourself to be in relationships where you are not recognized and loved, you take a stand, you're not giving mixed messages to the universe, and you start drawing the people who truly love and recognize you because you're uncompromising.
Drawing that line.
Amen.
You got to draw it. And the Course says, don't compromise. And people get up and say, what do you mean don't compromise? You only deserve to be treated with respect and love and appreciation and acknowledgement, and don't you compromise about that. Because then you're not giving mixed signals to yourself or to the universe. And that's scary for a person who's been used to just hoping they'll finally get someone, no matter what, they just breathe and that'll be enough. Yes, brother.
It's kind of an interesting thing happened to me on Friday the 13th. I was checking my voicemails, and in there, from an 855 number, which is Washington, D.C., this guy claimed to be from the Social Security Administration. And that the whole thing was that I had taken somebody else's Social Security number, which I got my Social Security number 18, you know, and said, "Yep, you're on here. You're for bank fraud, money laundering, dope smuggling." I said,
The police would call you on the
I said, I think you have me confused with the president.
That's great. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And he goes, no. Because you've got a car and you've got a bank. I said, okay, where do I bank? Where do I bank?
Yeah.
Get no idea. What kind of car do I drive? I said, I'll tell you what. How much will it take me to get out of this? I was just playing the guy. I said, $250,000.
Oh.
I said, well, I'll tell you what,
Wow.
I will gladly pay you $250,000, but I just want to make some phone calls first to see whether you're on the level. I'm going to call Social Security, and I need your full name and I need your employee ID number. And he hung up. And, you know, and it was clowning the guy. You know, part of it was ego, I think. But, you know, when I got the message, it sounded pretty official. And I was like, holy Christ, you know. So I called him right back. And so it turned out to be a fraudulent thing, obviously. But I think I could have been a little more, I don't know, understanding or something. But I just enjoy playing with people sometimes.
He's a crook.
Yeah, he is a crook.
So the court says that was a call for help.
Right.
And because it was a call for help, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the one that's supposed to answer it.
Right.
Okay, I'll say that again. Just because you recognize what somebody is doing as a call for help, we already heard the conditions was you want to do it, and you would feel like it was a sacrifice to do it. You know, I came to realize how arrogant it is for me to think that someone's not going to receive help unless I do it.
Right.
That is so arrogant when you think, because that is not healthy for that person. It would be better for that person to be helped whether you help them or not,
Right.
than for it to be based on what you do. But the way you see it, that's your learning curve. And that's what the book is trying to get us to understand. See, the biggest breakthrough, one of the biggest breakthroughs you could possibly have on a spiritual path, if you haven't already done that, is to recognize that all of your feelings are coming from what you are telling yourself. None of your feelings are coming from what's happening to you. All of your feelings are coming from what you're telling yourself about what's happening to you all day. I'll say that again. None of your feelings are based on what's going on in the world. Your feelings are based on what you're telling yourself about what's going on in the world. And that's true in everything that happens to you now and will happen to you the rest of your life. There's nothing about the external situation that's creating how you're feeling. There is nothing about the external situation that's creating how you're feeling. So the secret to happiness is the conversation you're having in your head with yourself. That's why it's doable. That's why you could be peaceful and happy regardless of what's happening in your life right now. Because everything that's happening in your life right now is neutral. It's neutral. It's neutral. Your child is a neutral child. You may get upset about your child and worry about your child, but other people aren't. Your child still exists, so why isn't everybody worried about you? Because your child is neutral. Everybody has their perception of your child that they are reacting to. So no event is causing the way you feel. Some people can have tragedies happen to me, and they would look at it in a way that would blow my mind in terms of they didn't get upset about it, and they didn't see that person as a body that died, and they really believe that's a spiritual being. That's now. I remember growing up, and my elders at a funeral. I remember my aunt, when her husband died, she was very loving and very peaceful because she said, "Hey, he's in heaven." See, in her perception, she had no doubt that he still existed. He was in heaven, and when she made her transition, they were going to be together again. You see what I'm saying? The situation had happened. Her husband had died, quote unquote, but her experience of it was not an experience of tragedy to her. And that's the way everything is. Every single thing is that way, even if it makes you mad. Like, I would prefer that the rainforest not be burning down, and I would be willing to do whatever is possible to help that not happen, but I don't have to get upset about it to help the situation. Me attacking myself about it does not have to be a part of the equation. I can keep peace within myself and still do whatever I could do to keep the Amazon from being on fire. See, we tend to think feeling bad and attacking ourselves sometimes is a necessary step to correction. Right? I'm gonna feel bad. Now I can't tell you to just stop doing something. That doesn't work for me. Just don't do that anymore. If you do that, then I'm not gonna respond to you, okay? We think we gotta say, don't you touch me no more. There may be some situations where you might have to say that. You'll know it because you would have done it. Okay, that's how you know. You would have done it. That's how you know that's what was called for. You did it. Right? But you're going to get to the point through the course, if you keep studying it, that you will stop attacking yourself as a stage of correction. It's not necessary for Earl. Earl, do you hear what you're saying, brother? Because first and foremost, these classes are what? Always for me. So what was that, a quick review on that? If you really start to have reason, you don't see sins that can't be corrected. You see mistakes that need to be lovingly handled. You don't value what the person has done. What you value is the correction of it. If you won't accept help you call for, then you won't have help to give. And there's another little part of this I'm going to cover in just a second. Acknowledge yourself for hearing this much, please. As this much. I'm going to do the donation right now, and then I got a quick review thing I want to complete this on. Did any of you need to hear any of that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation or donation, please go to earlpurdy.com, www.earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y. As a full-time teacher, thank you so much. You can also use Venmo. My email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm also do one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where I work with people to help them remove some blocks that they know that they're ready to have released. I've been an astrologer, a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist for 4 decades. I bring that into the sessions that you have with me if you're open and receptive to it, because whatever you're going through, between the Course in Miracles, what I know about astrology and numerology, and working with people for 4 decades, and you, the solution will be revealed. You're not going to bring anything to me that I can't answer based on what the truth teaches. It's impossible. Whatever you're going through, I can tell you the answer to it from the perspective of what the truth teaches. So stop thinking you're dealing with stuff that there's not a way out of it. You may not be willing to invest the time or in some cases the money necessary to have it, but there's nothing that there's not an answer to that you're going through. You're not that original. You're not that, I like to say it this way, you're not that special. You're not so special that you have a situation that even the Creator could not handle. Could you just see that? If you just pretend God was a person for a minute, you know, and then you say you got a problem, and God is going, oh my God, I don't know what I could do. How are we going to handle Earl's issue? Oh, goodness. Yeah, but that's the way it is when people just keep going through the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, as if there's not any solution to it. People invest more money in a Broncos game than they would invest in a workshop or a class or a teaching that would really help them. And then get insulted when that person asks for any money for it. But wouldn't hesitate to pay $200 to see a movie or a show or a concert. Our values are very interesting to me. Remember, you get out of things exactly what you put into them, right? And so I want to tell you also that I do Facebook Lives. If you're not here, you can watch on 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, the Course in Miracles Live. This is being broadcast. Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do The Way of Mastery. That's another incredible curriculum of teaching
that would be tremendously helpful. And then on Thursdays, I do what I call hardcore Course in Miracles. That's especially aimed at people who are studying the course or really sincerely want the course and see it as their path. And anybody, of course, can watch, but I will be assuming that this person already just wants to go deeper, and that they're not somebody I'm trying to convince about the validity of checking the course out. So if a person with that attitude probably wouldn't enjoy that class, it wouldn't make much sense to them, because it's not a convincing, because nobody had to make me study the course. Nobody had to convince me to study the Course in Miracles. And that's what I feel. Either it's for you or it's not. Either you're into it or you're not. And that's the way it is with everything, right? And I don't take it personally if a person isn't. It just means you need to be doing. I tell people all the time, I hope you find the thing that works for you. This works for me. And I thank God every day that it came into my life, even though I went through the same resistances that I see new people go through. But I'm not stupid enough to think it's the path for everybody. I'm glad there's more than one way to get to this church. It will get more people here faster. If everybody had to come down Colfax, it'd be a traffic jam, right? So every time you say there's just one way to do anything, you're actually slowing the process down. I'm glad that some people are doing other things besides the Course in Miracles. The astrology was what got me on my spiritual path that eventually even led to this. So when you judge other people's path, it just means you're asleep. It just means you're a cute little unconscious person. But you're just as cute as you can be. But you're just as unconscious as you can be. And that's what happens when you wake up. You'll be around very cute unconscious people. And you will know how deeply to get involved with them, because it will cause you pain to deal with someone that's not your equal. You don't want to be in a relationship that you're the teacher all the time. You're the one that's trying to educate them. You want somebody that's on a similar level of consciousness that y'all can join together on a common purpose so you can both move at the speed of light. Because I'm not having to drag you and you're not having to drag me. If I had faith, I would know that the Holy Spirit knows exactly who those people are and would send them to me. I wouldn't have to go out and hunt for nobody.
That's a good idea.
You don't have to hunt for your perfect mate or your perfect anything. But once you decide you want to learn how to let go of every block, you want to forgive, you want to become a conduit for love on this planet, it says everything else will be given you. But if you want to just get your own personal interest done, the Course says, well, you have to do that on your own, because God could care less about your personal interests. Now, the first time I heard that, I went, whoa! Yeah, it says, well, the universe is about the one thing that it is, all of it evolving and progressing. It doesn't care whether or not you're the president of your own company, but it will use your desire to be the president of your own company to bring love and healing to everyone around you. And the conscious being knows that that's just the form that you're serving in. Right? And since and because I love music and art and mysticism and astrology and metaphysics, well, what did Spirit do? Spirit went, okay, I'm going to use that, and I'll draw people to you that will be open to what you are doing. Just be authentic and be true to yourself, because they need you the way you are. And you'll be taken care of. And this month is my 32nd year of doing the Course in Miracles full time. Yeah. So that deserves some acknowledgement, y'all. It does. It's because that's you all. I am a part of you. What happens for me happens for you. You're not really acknowledging somebody else. You're really just acknowledging another aspect of yourself when you acknowledge me. And that's how you can tell an awake person, is they know that. Even if they never say it to you, they know it. Because when you wake up, you know who to talk to and who to tell what and who to act like them. See, the truth is, people who are not awake yet or awakening, they think you're just like them. So therefore, you'll still be safe until you open your mouth. Because they're going to just assume you think like they do.
Right.
And then those who are like you, those who are truly like you just recognize each other. You just it's the truth. They're going to make eye contact. They may do a little simple thing like a smile. Yeah. So you'll never be alone when you practice the truth. You will sometimes go through periods that look like you're alone because you're in transition.
and you haven't completed let go of your old way of being, and you haven't embraced the new level that's coming right now, and you'll be kind of disoriented, and you'll be wondering what the heck is going on, because like people dropping out of my life instead of people coming into my life. That's because you're in the transition. You're on the bridge. So I'm going to do the quick recap of just this paragraph, and then we can go out and see what other guilt we can make to forgive. Let's see. All right. So let yourself be healed first. Let yourself be made happy first. Let yourself be helped first. And then the Course says, then you'll know that you have it to give. And since you know you have it to give, you will believe that you have it. So there's one thought. Love is never going to make a correction just for you only. True love is going to correct everybody. It's going to want to heal everybody. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to... Say that with me. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. Mighty companions online, thank you. To think about that. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. Love that I give is given to myself. Love that I give is given to myself. Peace that I give is given to myself. Peace that I give is given to myself. Wealth that I give is given to myself. Wealth that I give is given to myself. Joy that I give is given to myself. Joy that I give is given to myself. Forgiveness that I give is given to myself. Forgiveness that I give is given to myself. Thank you, mighty companions. Thank you for showing up today. I appreciate you. And don't forget, you deserve to be paid for having fun. All right, so hugs are available.
I have an announcement. I just want to let everyone know I'm kind of filling in for Megan as her proxy. She's doing a tea and